Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Studio 5. So everyone loves a good makeover, but today we're going beyond the basic before and after and actually learning along as 3 Studio 5 viewers get a brand new look. You might remember last month we put the call out for women looking for hair help, specifically when it comes to hair color. Dozens and dozens and dozens of you posted a social media selfie to the hashtag #ColorMePretty with the hopes of winning a free color makeover from the talented team at Moore Hair Design. Owner and stylist Megan Moore supervised this entire process. I am so excited to meet these viewers, see who you picked. Were you pleased with how it turned out?
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was hard to pick though because there were so many good ones, but I ended up with 3 that I'm really excited about.
We really did want to make this though a learn along process for the rest of us because color, I think, brings on a whole wave of confusion. Does my color go with my skin? Does my color go with my eyes? Any basic rules of thumb we can follow as women out there trying to navigate that sea of color?
Yeah, I think firstly, the thing I always recommend is try and stay within 2 levels of your natural color, either 2 levels lighter or 2 levels darker.
Okay.
Beyond that, you're kind of pushing the limits and you're gonna end up with maintenance problems where you're gonna have to be at the salon really, really often.
Do you find women tend to go too light, too dark?
In Utah, we tend to go too light.
We love our blonde.
We love our blondes.
Yes.
But the maintenance is really hard with that. And you think, well, I was blonde, right, when I was 12. But you're not blonde anymore. And it's okay to embrace a newer, more adult version of your hair color. So with some of ours that were blonde, they're still blonde. They're just a different kind of blonde. And maybe it just takes somebody seeing that in real life to realize, oh yeah, I could do that too.
Can anybody do any color?
Not necessarily. I mean, I hate to put rules on things, right? But there are some guidelines. So keep in mind your underlying skin pigments. We talked about this a little bit last time I was here. Really, people have either pink underlying tones, yellow underlying tones, or green underlying tones. And you can really determine that by looking at, I've got this graphic here. If you look at the veins on your wrist, that's a great way to tell. It will really help you know if you're more of a cool, a neutral, or a warm. And the veins, depending on what your skin tone's over the top of those veins, that's really a great way to look. So I've got this chart for you. So you kind of know if you're a pink tone, you're more cool. If you're a yellow tone, you're more neutral. You can tend to go both ways. And then if you have more golden skin and you have kind of those green veins, then you're going to be more warm.
That is so helpful, that
isn't
graphic.
Isn't that cool?
So helpful.
Yeah, so that really helps determine. So you could still be a blonde, but maybe you're a cool blonde or a beige blonde. Or maybe you're a brown, but you're more chocolate or you're more an ash brown. So it really kind of depends. So we kind of put those 2 things together. The level of where you're at, either too higher or too lower, and then the tone along that level. It could be red, it could be blonde or brown, but there's certainly different tones along the spectrum.
Good advice. Can we get to the fun stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're still going to learn along to these examples, but here come the makeovers. All right, first we are going to meet Chelsea. Now, Chelsea fits in the category of blonde, blonder, blondest. She admits that her hair was getting a little high maintenance. She was needing to go to the salon to top it off every 8 weeks, which just isn't realistic for this busy gal on the go, right?
Yep, no, and new mama too.
Look at her now. Megan, tell us what you did.
Okay, so for Chelsea, I wanted to keep her blonde. Like, she's a beautiful blonde, and the blonde she had before was gorgeous, but is really high maintenance, and it was more of a yellow blonde. So we took it down to more of this beige blonde.
This is stunning.
Isn't this pretty?
Oh, I love it.
Especially for winter. She's got a little bit more contrast in there, so she still reads blonde. You look at her and say, oh, she's a blonde, but she's not that bright yellow blonde that she was before. So as her roots come in, they're going to be a lot easier to maintain, and again, it just makes her eyes pop and perfect for these cooler winter months.
How many different colors did you weave in there?
Just 2 different colors.
2.
Yep, so 2 different colors. She's got a low light and a highlight, but again, we kept it in that beige family so that it's not so yellow and so bright. So even though she was really blonde before, now she's a little bit softer, more attainable blonde for an adult.
I love it. Chelsea, what do you think?
I love it.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Do you still feel like that brightness is around your face?
Yes, and it brought out my eyes, for sure.
I agree with that. So Megan, if someone wanted to translate this to their own hair color, what would we say to our stylist to pull this off?
So this is a beige blonde. So keep that in mind. It's not yellow, it's not that pale blonde, like that white blonde. It's really in that beige family. So keep that in mind. If you've got some pink undertones like she does, it's a super flattering version of blonde.
Chelsea, you look stunning. You look so pretty. Thank you so much.
Gorgeous?
All right, Mia is next. Now, Mia, when she posted her picture online, posted a question with it saying, am I a brunette? Am I a blonde? I just don't know. She admits to a few inches of regrowth there that were kind of catching up to her. Let's look at Mia now. Holy hot mama, you look
Isn't she
fantastic.
gorgeous?
Megan, tell us what you did.
Okay, so Mia was the question. I love that. She said, am I a brunette or am I blonde? Because she kind of had equal parts of both.
I ask that question often too, just so you know.
Sometimes it's hard to know because like I said, you used to be blonde, but now you're transitioning. I wanted to keep her blonde. I didn't want her to take her to a brunette. I wanted to keep her blonde, but again, I wanted to change the tone. So this is a more honey color blonde. So it's better for her skin tone, better for the winter months again, makes her eyes pop, and I think the biggest thing is it makes her eyebrows come alive, right? That really makes her face pop. And again, she's not gonna have as much maintenance because it's a deeper root color. It's not gonna be so contrasting. But again, she doesn't have to be super bright blonde to still be blonde.
Right, now what's the difference then between a beige blonde or a honey blonde? How do we know if we fit in that category?
Honey has a little bit more, it's a little more strawberry blonde. So it has a little bit more warmth to it, a tiny bit more of that pink in it. She has more yellow in her skin. She's a more neutral. So I wanted to have her blonde have a little bit more of the pink in it to balance it out.
All right, what do you think, Mia?
So pretty, right?
I love it.
Do you love it?
I do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And once you pointed out I mean, you can't even say red. Pink is,
yes,
I guess, more of an appropriate description, but you kind of see that subtle sheen once you pointed it out. It's really pretty.
Thank you.
It's really gorgeous. All right, thank you so
fun.
much. All right, Heidi is our next viewer who said, hey, Studio 5, color me pretty. She said her hair was kind of an afterthought. She was concerned about everything else in her life, and like many women out there, did not have time to color. Look at this lady now. I told Megan, one of these women is going to convince me to be a brunette, and that woman is Heidi. You look so fantastic. Tell us what you did, Megan.
So as soon as I saw her picture on Instagram, I said, she must be darker. We have to give her some rich contrast to her skin. She does have a pink tone in her cheeks, but you can see, so I knew that a mahogany brown was going to be perfect for her.
This is gorgeous.
Isn't it so pretty?
Oh.
It just gives more contrast to her skin. What was happening before is that her natural color, although it was a nice color, it was just a little bit too close to her skin, and she wasn't really seeing any contrast. So I knew we needed some depth in her hair. Again, makes her eyes totally pop. Isn't that so pretty? And the mahoganies work really nice with those pink undertones.
And you don't think mahogany is a hair color, but it pulls out that richness like you described.
It's got that rich, it's super reflective, it's so much shinier because it has all that pigment in there. And again, I didn't want to take her to like an ashy brown. I really wanted to play up that warmth in her cheeks with some of that beautiful red. And she was open to red and she was a little nervous, but I was like, we're doing
a little bit? What do you think? What do you think now?
Love it.
Oh, you should. I hope you look in the mirror every day and say, I look good. Because you do. Can I ask you about the brunette transition if you want to go? I did this once in college. I tried to go brown.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't go dark enough. Is that a mistake someone make when they're making that transition?
Yeah, sometimes stylists are conservative, right? We don't want to go over the top.
Right.
But if you get caught in that in-between, it can look a little muddy, right? And so it doesn't have the richness or the reflective and the depth that we need. So for her, we definitely took it those 2 levels darker.
Yeah.
But then we kept it in that red mahogany level to make it even more rich. So if we had just done brown, it would have been great, but to pop it with a little bit of red made it that much better.
Color me pretty, and you did 3 times over, you guys. Thank you so much for letting us learn along the process. Was it fun too?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, right? Hair color makeover. If people have questions, Megan, or they want a hair color makeover of their own, where can they get in touch with you?
So our salon is More Hair Design, and you can find us at morehairdesign.com, or my beauty blog, of course, is thebeautysnoop.com.
You're so good at what you do.
Thank you so much.
Here. Thank you so much. Come